Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and of course, welcome on back to another LEGO Marvel Superheroes set review. Today we're going to be taking a look at set number 76020, Nowhere Escape Mission, which is of course based off the Guardians of the Galaxy, an absolutely fantastic movie that I truly do recommend for each and every single one of you to go ahead and check out. It's fantastic, super duper fun, super duper cool, and I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, recommend it to all of you. However, of course, this set contains 433 pieces, so it's a little bit of the larger set, and honestly, I had to pick this up because when I came out of the movie, I was like, I gotta get something Guardians of the Galaxy in my blood. It was like, I had to have something Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was like, I gotta support this movie more, and I saw this and I was like, you know what, that looks really cool. Plus, luckily, it was actually on sale, which was really awesome. So I ended up getting this for a very good price indeed. So, of course, as you can see, this set contains quite a few minifigures and comes with a beautiful box right here with 433 pieces. I think I mentioned that already. It's rated for ages 6 to 12, which I never understand why they do that. I understand the minimum age, but why put a maximum age limit on there as well? Shouldn't that be 6 to infinity or something? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. However, the box looks absolutely beautiful, and once you get everything assembled, so this is all the goodies that you will get once you got everything out of the box and fully assembled, which honestly will probably take you a good hour, maybe even hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, depending on what kind of pace you work at and how quickly you can assemble this set, because of course, it's not one of the smaller sets. And it's a pretty cool set indeed. I do have some gripes about it, which I will cover in just a moment. But of course, basically the way that the set breaks down is one vehicle right here. Then you get a nice little shooting mechanic, so kind of like a weapon. It's not really a vehicle, but it is a defense system, I guess kind of like a turret. And then you get this really cool structure, which is obviously supposed to mimic the Nowhere mines. If you've watched the movie, you know what this is all about. And then of course, you also get yourself 1, 2, 3, and 4 characters in this particular set. And the reason why I said characters is because 3 of them are minifigures, and then 1 is a brick-built figure as well. So, with that being said, let's begin with the big structure. I think that is kind of the biggest piece. So we're just going to go ahead and set the other pieces onto the side and move Nebula for now. And let's get rocking, right? Get rocking. And almost anything I'm going to say now that is like rocking or rocket or anything like that is going to sound like some sort of a pun. But nonetheless, as you can see, first of all, really cool. I actually thought that this was a cool build. Typically, if you've watched any of my reviews, you know that I'm not a big fan of getting sets that don't have like a vehicle or something like that, because most of the time I have a hard time justifying like, what do I do with this now? Okay, so I've built it, it was fun and everything, but it's very difficult to display something like this. I know you could just say, well, put it and stack figures on it and stuff, but I don't know. I prefer when it's like something like this, where it's a vehicle or something like that, so it's a little bit more, I don't know, in my mind somehow justifiable. So I don't like when it's pieces, because then I feel like, well, I didn't get the side of this and this and this, and I'd like to build like a whole set around it, not just this one piece and one sector. So typically I don't like this kind of stuff. However, this was A, really fun to assemble, and B, had some really cool details and fun elements to it. So first off, of course, as you can see right here, we've got this little launching pad mechanic, which is obviously, I think, supposed to mimic the idea of maybe a radiation or some sort of little bombs or mines or something like that. As you can see, just tiny little yellow pieces, Lego pieces. And kind of reminds me of the big baths that Drax gets dropped into in the film, so maybe that's what it's supposed to be. And then, of course, if you want, you could go on ahead and flip that, and that will launch it. I don't want to be launching it too hard because I don't want to get it lost behind my desks here. So yeah, but it is kind of cool. You do get 3 of those, and you actually get a couple more extras just to spare, which is really nice. Then one thing that was really cool, I actually really love this little pipe element here. I thought that was a really neat thing, and the way that you assemble this was really fun, and it gave me a lot of ideas for some things that I've wanted to build on my own. And that was a really cool mechanism right here. So that was cool. I like when that kind of stuff happens, because then it kind of inspires me. Oh, I could do something like this, or use this for this type of character, or this type of build. And I find that kind of stuff to be really inspiring and cool. However, then we move on to the main piece, which is this tower piece right here. And you'll notice, of course, we do have some nice details like this ladder right here, and then we got this antenna poking out right here. going pretty high up, which is pretty cool. But then you will also notice this little red thing right here. You might wonder to yourself, well, what is that? Well, for that, we're going to need one of our bad guys, and we're not going to use Nebula because she's a little bit more of a tough bad guy. So we are going to use the, I believe they were called Sacaran or Sacaran. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce that. But we're going to go ahead and set him up here on this little platform, right? And there he is. So he's just like, oh, Rocket, I will get you. I will get you, Rocket. You are mine. And then it's like, poof, poof. And then he gets dropped into the bath right there of acid, which is very, very dangerous, obviously. So that is a cool little trap, hidden trap door. And actually kind of reminded me of like older play sets from my childhood. They used to have those type of trap doors into like a jail cell or something like that. So I found this to be really fun. Oh no, he is stuck in there. Come on, little guy, I'm trying to save you, buddy. Oh no. Okay, well that was a fail. Okay, so as you can see, he gets stuck in there real good. You're not getting him out of there easily. Let's put it that way. And luckily, none of the yellow pieces flew way too far away. Whew, okay, I got really worried for a moment there. I should have thought about that before acting. But again, very, very cool in that sense. However, that is not all that the tower has to offer. Because if you've noticed, there's a little antenna here. And if you go ahead and push this, or ask Groot to come in and be like, I am Groot. Boom! It blows up the tower. This entire piece flies off. And as you can see, it's pretty sturdy, so you can just knock it off. I mean, don't throw it on the floor or anything. It's definitely going to break then. But it's built very, very sturdily. So you will be fine with, knocking it on and about a little bit. And that's cool. I love that mechanism because it kind of recreates the idea of, explosions and action scenes and such, which is quite neat. And you can see the detailing work on the inside there a little bit. And as you can see, the way that it works is basically because it only connects on 2 pegs, and then over here we have just the flat bars. It's able to bounce off really, really easily off of this particular piece and fly down, obviously. So there you go. That is the big tower from the Nowhere mine. Let's move on next to the little Sacaran or Sacaran. It's going to be hard for me to pronounce this whole name every single time, but I think it's Sacaran. I'm pretty sure. That's what I'm going to call it, guys. If I'm wrong, my apologies. First of all, as you can see, some nice detail work with the stickers, which is really, really neat. It's also got a nice little spot to hold his weapon, which is very cool. By the way, I love the shape of his gun. So, so very cool. And I also like the fact that you can go ahead and aim it a little bit, which is quite neat. Whoops. Which is quite neat, I said. I said it was neat. Why are you being mean to me? But again, very, very cool. And then the other element that I really liked and I thought was cool is that you can have him, the little guy, the little guardian, hold on to the actual control panel here and kind of have him shift around, which is quite cool. So I thought that was a neat little element right there and worked very, very cool. However, the one thing that blew me away the most was actually that this thing is spring-loaded. Yes, it is. Indeed, it is. If you didn't notice, there's a little missile right here, and what you do is you push down on that and it flies out. Now, it flies out, I should say, because it like launches out. It is so fast. It's ridiculous. Like when I touch that, boom. If I tried to launch it and it almost flew across the entire room, which was really mind-blowing because none of those flick missiles do that. So from now on, that's what I want to see. Those are really, really neat and very, very powerful. So definitely be careful with them. Don't shoot them at anybody, but still, you could definitely have like competitions to see who will get the shot the furthest. And the reason why you can do that is because there are actually 2 of them, which is really cool. And the whole shot is like red and translucent to mimic a laser. Very, very cool, very simple, but this is the kind of thing that I love when it's simple, but it works and it's really neato. So next up, we've got the little pod that we actually saw in the film, which was really neat. So this is something that did make an appearance in the actual movie. Now you'll notice a lot of detail work. All this is done through stickering, so it does take a little bit of time to actually get all those right, and I tried to do my best. As you know, if you've been watching me for a long time, you know that I'm not particularly great at sticker work, but I had a lot of fun building this little thing. It was super duper fun, and just a really fun little vehicle that you actually assemble. So it's got a nice opening cockpit right here, which does shift all the way up, so it actually has 2 different points of articulation. And let's go ahead and pull out Rocket out of there for now, so you will see that he can obviously house in there very easily. He's got a nice seat and some controls as well. And the cool thing is, if you remember in the actual film, at some point I think it was Star-Lord, spoiler alert, used some of these I mean, it's not a big spoiler, to actually control another ship. So it's really cool that they actually included these details here. So we can go ahead and open up these little claw hands right here. And you will notice that this is obviously supposed to be kind of more of a mining vehicle. That's what it's meant for. It's on Nowhere, which is this part of the galaxy where there's a lot of mining and almost like a black market type thing. So you could definitely see this thing, you know, hovering along, picking up some maybe difficult items to carry and then delivering them to other spaceships and such. So that is a really cool element, and you do have 3 articulated fingers on each one, and they will also rotate, so you can go ahead and basically pose them whatever way you want, which is quite cool indeed. I also love the translucent blues here. They work super duper well, and overall I love the fact that it's a nice bright colorful piece. A lot of times a lot of toys go with that colorization where it's like dark and brooding, and it's like, to me, I love it when it's nice and colorful like this. It's much more exciting and much more, it kind of pops when you put it on your shelf or wherever it is that you keep your collection. It definitely works a little bit better for me personally. So there you go. And it actually has a pretty nice scale to it. So for example, if I bring out the little Gatling gun here, or the little turret, as you can see, it's quite a bit smaller. So even though it seems like it's going to be very small, it's actually got a pretty decent size to it. So now that we've gotten done with that, let's go on ahead and take a look at our minifigures, shall we, guys? Alrighty guys, so we begin with the evil minion of the Sacaran, and as you can see, it looks very neat actually. Got a very menacing claw face there, quite intriguing. I also love how much detail they have right here in their armor, which is quite cool indeed. Nice little claw mark, looks like he was probably fighting something. Maybe Groot actually, because Groot scratched him up probably pretty gosh darn good. As you can see, the detail continues onto the back, and the other cool thing about this guy is that if you end up collecting some more of these, you can go ahead and take advantage by flipping the face and getting a completely different looking minion, which is quite cool indeed. So you can kind of mix and match and definitely army build these particular sets. So I definitely like that. Looks very cool, and as you can see, 2 very different expressions, whereas this one is just like one-eyed and kind of crazy looking. And honestly, I believe kind of almost reminds me, this expression, kind of like the guy that works for Thanos, like his little minion guy in the film. Again, I don't want to really get into the film a lot, so I'm going to try to avoid that because I'm just too hyped over the film, so I'm just like talking about everything about the movie right now. So my apologies about that. But again, very cool indeed. So then let's go ahead and move onwards and forwards to the next evil character, or at least in our eyes, she's evil, of course, and that is Nebula. And as you can see, a very cool figurine indeed. I love that little thing that they've got sculpted onto her head there. That looks really cool, that little thing around her eye. Looks very technical and such. Very neato. Of course, some nice print work on the front here, and that carries through onto the back as well. And you can see that kind of mechanical type elements, components carrying through to the back and even to the side here. Very cool indeed. I also love the fact that, if you didn't notice, she's got 1 silver sleeve, 1 blue sleeve. Very neat. Purple hands. Just a really great work of getting color, and more importantly, a very unique and obscure character. Like, within the big scheme of things, within the big Marvel universe, the fact that we have a Nebula minifigure, an official release of Nebula, is awesome. And that's what I want to see more of for the DC side of things, is start to get some of the crazier characters that are not very common. So that is really neat. And of course, as you can see, she does come along with 2 very nice katanas. So then we move on to probably the rock star of the show, Mr. Rocket Raccoon. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been waiting for him. But I have to say, I am a wee little bit disappointed with this guy. First of all, you can see he comes with a little orb that they track down. I'm not going to spoil what it actually is, but this is an orb that is very important to both the Guardians and Ronan and his army, and everybody in the universe for that matter, and they all tried to get this little thing right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that down, because he also comes with this really cool thing, which I was very impressed with. Of course, this is supposed to be Rocket's ginormous blaster, and as you can see, tons of cool detail that you built into this. In fact, it's even got that little handle that hangs onto his shoulder, and he can hold this gun actually quite easily, in fact. So we can go ahead and give that to him, and as you can see, there's Rocket wielding a ginormous weapon, which I love. I think that was really cool. And again, I would love to see more stuff like this. Just really weird looking and unique weapons indeed. And a nice little scope here and such. Very, very cool indeed. So, but now back to the little minifigures. So first off, I have to say, he looks like a raccoon, which I know you could say, well, that's what Rocket Raccoon is. He's a raccoon. But I don't know. Something is missing from the face. Maybe it's just me. Let me know if you disagree with me. But I feel like the face is really not... It's not... Like, I don't see Rocket Raccoon's personality or anything come through there. Like Nebula, she looked like Nebula. She had a little bit of a nice, grin on her face and such. All of the other minifigures that we looked at so far definitely... played their part. Here, I feel like they should have done something. I don't know, maybe make the nose shorter and have some sort of a smirk, or maybe like have his teeth peeking out or something. I think would have worked far better. However, I do like elements like, for example, the little shoulder pads here and all the nice detail work on the actual armor there. That is very cool, and that carries through onto the back along with his awesome sauce tail right there. So again, I'm not trying to complain too much. It's just that I want to be fair and give you guys my honest opinion, as I always try to do. So there you go. But nonetheless, of course, let's go ahead and get Mr. Rocket off. Oh, and by the way, he doesn't come with little shorter legs. So when he stands next to a typical minifigure, he will be a little bit shorter. Not quite as much as he's supposed to be, but obviously if they did that, they would probably have to make him half this size, which would make him like this tiny. So I'm okay with that scale, the one that we currently have, and I don't mind it whatsoever. And then we move on to the one and only I Am Groot, which is of course Groot. And I have to say, I was very, very pleasantly surprised by the fact that the face here turned out really, really nicely. I was very, very happy with the way that the face turned out on this guy, and I do think that it is quite characterful. I think that he does look a little bit almost old to me, like a little too old, but at the same time, I can definitely see Groot's eyes, and I know that sounds weird, but if you watch the movie, you know that he's got this really key element about his eyes. Like, his eyes are very, very characterful, and I think that they definitely pulled that off here. Now, by the way, this entire thing right here is just like one piece, and then the rest of Groot is obviously, as you notice, is not a minifigure. It's actually brick built. I don't really like that. I think considering that they did the Lego Marvel Superheroes video game where he was just a big figure, kind of like, they've done a Hulk figurine that was really big. I really would have preferred for them to do that and release Groot like that instead of doing this. I know that this, you could say, well, this is more accurate because he's a lot larger and he looks more like, with branches and elements like that, and then through stickering you get kind of the idea of having leaves and components like that, but I don't know. I don't really like it. I don't like the fact that it's brick built. I would have much preferred it was a big figure. I know it would have had far less articulation and such, but I think that would have worked better. Speaking of articulation, this guy reminded me a lot of a Mixel. When I was assembling him, I was like, this feels a lot like I'm building a Lego Mixel or something, which is obviously a great thing because you do get tons and tons of articulation. Goodness gracious. Can you tell me, guys, what is it with recording? As soon as I start recording something, everything has to go flying. Everything has to go flying everywhere. But yeah, as you can see, we've got a nice joint at the elbow, the wrist moves, and then each finger right here moves as well. So that is really cool because that allows you to obviously go ahead and grab some of the villains or even carry Rocket, which is pretty cool as well. Of course, the legs also have some really nice range and a bend right there at the knee along with a nice swivel thanks to that little ball joint connection. The same goes for the thigh here, of course. So I do appreciate the articulation, and I'm not trying to complain a lot, but what I'm trying to say is that I would have preferred this along with the big Lego, the big figure arms, and maybe like make the torso a little bit wider. So for me personally, would have just preferred a big figure. I could be wrong, and you could obviously disagree with me, and I would love to hear from you guys and hear your opinions and thoughts in the comment section below. So definitely let your voice be heard in the comment section below. I would love for you guys to share along with me what you guys think of this particular set in total. So there you go, guys. That is the entire set right there. Groot, of course, Rocket Raccoon, Nebula, and the Sacaran soldier. A very, very nice mix of characters. Very, very cool indeed. I was pleasantly surprised by how cool this set turned out, because for me, really, I was just getting it because I was like, oh, I just want something Guardians, and this looked cool because it featured, of course, both Groot and Rocket. But again, I was also fair and did judge it based on certain qualities that I liked and did like, or didn't like, sorry. So I was trying to be fair and not be overly hyped about the fact that it's Guardians of the Galaxy, it's perfect. So I tried to be very, very careful with that. However, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you not like the Nebula figure or the Sacaran soldier? Or maybe a part of the build? Maybe you did like something that I didn't like. Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to get a really, really cool discussion going with all of you. And of course, as I always say, guys, don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more. Share the videos with your family and friends and favorite the videos as well. And of course, have a fan-flippy-tastic day. I will catch you guys next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators. Bye bye, guys. Thanks all for watching.